It's called Recapture, and it's got a lot of people confused about how to vote next week. A yes vote means you're okay with the Houston Independent School District sending a check for almost $80 million to the state of Texas. A no vote means being willing to take property off the HISD tax rolls and give that money to another district. In many ways, a no-win vote. We'll talk about how we got to this and why you should vote for or against. Lone Star College is on track to offer bachelor's degrees for certain fields, which could mean a higher education at a much lower price. Lone Star's chancellor is here to talk about those chances.
From KPRC Channel 2, this is Houston Newsmakers with Cambrell Marshall.
Good morning and welcome to Houston Newsmakers, where this morning the subject is all about education or education-related issues. Specifically, right out of the box, we'll be talking about Recapture, what it means and how you should consider voting when you see Proposition 1 when you go to the ballot box between now and Election Day on Saturday, May 6th. Joining me this morning, Jolanda Jones, former Houston City Council member and now Houston Independent School District trustee for District 4. Good to see you. Hi. And former State Representative Scott Hochberg, who for 20 years represented Southwest Houston. In Austin, for all those 20 years, he was on the House Education Committee, among many things. And now, among the many things you're still doing, education consultant is a part of what you're doing. So thank you both for being here. Let's put aside for a moment the yes-no part of why you should vote one way or the other. Is there a simple way to explain what Recapture is all about?
Yeah, I think as simple as I can make it. So you have a system that's based on local property taxes, and the problem is that the stuff we tax, the value of property, isn't necessarily where the kids are. So you have districts like the King Ranch in South Texas that has 76 kids and $1 billion worth of property. And the court said, wait a minute, that doesn't make sense, because what the King Ranch would do is have a very, very small tax rate because they didn't need much money. And all of that property was essentially off the tax rolls. So the courts 25 years ago said, you got to do something about that. You can either completely change the system, or you can figure out a way to put those districts together so that that money doesn't all just stay in one place and not serve the kids. Mm-hmm. The legislature said, all right, we'll just put those districts together. We'll consolidate them. Turns out that was not a very popular political answer for all kinds of reasons. So the school districts came in and said, well, how about some other options? Could we just send some money to the state and you all can redistribute it? That money is Recapture, and it initially applied to a very small number of districts. That list has gotten much, much longer and now includes HISD.
Would it be safe to say that really not many people are really excited about this system as it exists right now?
Well, I can tell you that the legislature in September 28th and 29th of 2016 had a specially called joint session between the Appropriations Committee and the Public Ed Committee to talk about Recapture. It was a two-day hearing. One of the sessions during that committee meeting that I thought was really, really informative and educational for me was the session where they had school districts that are currently paying Recapture payments. And what they explained is they had school districts that were like suburban, urban, rural. Some had, mostly minority, like populations. Some had, white populations. But for the most part, well, not for the most part, for the all of them testified that had they known then what they know now, they would have absolutely voted to detach. For example, in Austin, when it was time when they fell into Recapture, their first payment was $20 million. And I got this from Nicole Conley, their CFO. Yeah, she said they thought it was a good idea. They thought some school districts were struggling. We can cut $20 million, where we don't cut anything substantial to help poorer districts. Well, their payment this year is $406 million. Their payment next year is $539 million, and it's not sustainable.
So a couple of things that are important about that. First of all, any district that wants to get out and detach property can just not vote to send the check back to the state next time, and the commissioner will be very happy to come in and detach their property. That's their option. Once they have the vote, they have the authority to make that decision. Mm-hmm. You need the vote in order to write the check. You don't need the vote in order to not write the check. And if you don't write the check, they can have detachment. So if they want detachment, they can have it. But the other thing to note is that that $400 and some million or whatever it is not money that they currently have to spend or have ever had to spend. That's money from the increase in values in their area. So it's money over and above that without recapture they would get to use, but it's not cutting into the budget that they already have, and that's a big difference.
Well, but I can tell you this: once in recapture, always in recapture. Then
that's
the board,
true.
Then the board, and here's what's really interesting, which I think is totally unfair. I was convinced that we decided this issue in November, right? 62% we voted against it, and they were supposed to detach. So when I found out that there was a move afoot to put it back on the ballot, I found out that the law is written such that once you vote to pay the money, you can never go back. But if you vote to detach it, then you can have other elections.
That's not entirely true. Once you vote to pay the money, you don't need to go back to the voters for permission to pay again. But you can choose as a board to say, we're not writing the check this year. And if you think about it on a practical basis, even if that was the law, that once you were in, you had to keep writing the check, what happens if the superintendent, doesn't sign the check?
But that's interesting because, again, 100% of the schools that testified said if they had it to do over again, they would have voted to detach.
Well,
and we're speculating about what's happening with HISD, but we know what's happened with all those other districts. And unanimously, they said that they would have never voted to pay had they known then. They would have absolutely voted to detach. And I think that's important. And that's what's frustrating me about this whole thing is, look at our board. Our board decided to put this back on the ballot. Over 100% objections from everyone who came to the board when asked whether we should put it back. So when you have a wild board that doesn't listen to the people, I wouldn't trust that board.
So you're talking about your colleagues. Are you the only one who is feeling like
No, myself, Manny Rodriguez, and Deanna Davila respected the vote in November. And I'm going to say it again, 100% of the people that came to us when we were deciding whether to put it back on the ballot, and I voted not to put it back on the ballot, 100% of the people said, don't do it, please respect our vote. And my 5 colleagues were like, well, you know, we understand this better than you. You'll thank us later, you really don't understand, which I think is incredibly patronizing and disrespectful.
Well, I want to take a quick, let me put a full screen up of the ballot language, which is really kind of, it's legalese, authorizing the Board of Trustees of Houston Independent School
Districts wrote that
to purchase attendance credits from the state with local tax revenues. Okay, just let that just marinate for a minute. And we're going to take a break. I'm going to come back because we got much more to talk about what's going on with this vote. Should you vote yes or no? More with Trustee Jelida Jones and former State Rep Scott Hochberg after this break.